And welcome to Raouf Bishai Photography, Bishai Tech Tip of the Week. As promised, this is the second one in the series, and we'll talk about layers today. What is layers? How it is, how we treat them in Photoshop. So layer assembly is a couple of layers. This is one, this is two. We can put them on top of each other, behind each other, and so forth. Let's see how that really work in Photoshop. So we're gonna go to Photoshop. And the first thing we need to do, we need to open several photos and to open them as layers. So one way to do it is to go to File, Script, and load file into Stack. Now, if all your files in one folder, it's easy. You can put folder and you can just pick up the folder. However, in my case, I have several other files, so I'm just going to pick up certain file. So I'm going to say File, Browse. And in this case, I'm going to pick up, let's pick up what, I don't know, 3 or 4 photos maybe. Let's pick up this one. And I'm going to hold my Shift key and click in this one. And maybe this one. It's about four photos or four illustration. And I'm going to say Open. So now here they are. And I'm going to say Open. And let Photoshop do its thing. And now I have 4 layers in here. Now, as those layers come, there is several things we can, just in general to introduce them. One, I can either click this off, take the eye off, it means that hide it, or reveal it, okay? Or I can hold it, and while I'm holding the left mouse button down, I can drag and I can hide all of them. All right. Or I can just click in each one to just reveal them. Okay, you can also move the layers around, so I can just do like this and just arrange them to any way I want them, okay? All right, so let's hide all the layer except one, which right now this, I'm gonna call it the background, for example. All right, let me minimize this in here. So let's say in this first layer, first of all, I need to select, well, just keep it as symbol. Let's just go to second layer in here and reveal it. And now here it is, but it's way too big. Well, you can see the corners in here. I can size it in the way I want it. I can take this layer and move it to where I want it. Okay, let's go to the second layer. And it's this guy right here. Again, I can do the same thing. I can move him. And I can resize him. All right, and the fourth one, which is a little girl, I can also do the same thing. I can resize her, and I can move her. All right, let's do a couple of things in here. We know that this guy is in the top of the tree. So what happens if I want to move him behind the tree? I can't, because if I try to move him behind the tree, it actually goes and covers the tree. In order for me to do this, I have to put him underneath the tree. So now if I move him, look what happened. He goes behind the tree. So it's very important that you can figure out, which layers and what you do with, how you do it. Okay, let's suppose that you have this guy in here and you want to duplicate him. All right, that's simple. In Windows, you can hit Alt. In Mac, you can hit Option, left click the mouse on the top of the object, the subject, and drag it. And as you drag it, you can see that you have made a copy. And you can do that again, and you create another copy of the same thing. Okay, let's just do in here Command or Control 0 to fill the screen. So now, as you can see, I have 3 different subject. All of them basically are the same subject, and each one independently I can change it sizes, I can move it or whatever else I need to. All right, now here's another thing. Let's suppose that now that we know how to put the layers in here together and how we copy it and how we move it, let's say that I'm gonna go to, I don't know, this guy in here. And what I want to do in here, I want to change something in it. So since it's a layer, I can treat it as an individual photo, right? So let's say that I'm gonna take him and I know, let's go to layers and let's say new adjustment layer and let's do, how about hue and saturation? Say okay. So that's added a hue and saturation above that first guy, okay? Look what happened when I change it here. That's not what I wanted to do. Why is it changing everything? It's not supposed to change everything. I don't want to change everything. All what I need to change is this guy only that I selected. Okay, that's not gonna work, right? Okay, let's see how we can solve this. So let's just throw this adjustment layer out. What happened is, if I'm selecting a subject and I'm gonna change the property of it in a layer, that change will take effect to everything underneath it. Not above it, but underneath it. So if I go in the very top subject, which in this case happened to be this little girl, and I try to change anything, let's say that I want to put her in black and white. So I'm going to add an adjustment layer, a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to say black and white. And I say, okay. It turns everything into black and white. Why? Because she is in the very top of everything else. Well, that's not what I want to do, so I'm going to hit Command Z or Control Z and just get rid of it and try to do something else. All right. Again, she's in the top layer in here, so I'm going to take her. But this time, I'm going to hold the Command key in Mac, Control key in Windows, and I'm going to click in it. Look what happened when I click in that layer in here. You can see you have a marching ant around it. So basically, anything I do, it will affect only this layer, nothing else. So let's do the same thing we did before. I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to say new adjustment layer. In the new adjustment layer, let's choose black and white. And I'm going to say okay. Now, as you can see, this is affect only this layer, nothing else. Okay, it did not affect any other layer. It affected only the one that I did. I'm gonna hit Command Z in here a couple of times to bring it to where it was. All right, let's go to one of this other subject in here. So let's go to this guy right here, and let's change the property of him to see what will happen. Again, I'm holding Command in Windows, Command in Mac, or Control in Windows, and I'm gonna click. And as you can see, immediately that highlighted this particular subject. And let's go to layer. Let's do a new adjustment layer. And let's do hue and saturation. And I'm going to do something really crazy so it can just make it stand out of everything else. You see, I can just change. And whatever I'm changing only in this guy. Nothing else I'm changing. Everything else stays the same. And that's how we change the particular property of each one. Okay, I can click in a different subject now. And what we can do, and I'm going to have another lesson for this, for blending. But for right now, I can go in there and I have several blending mode. And as I cycle through them, you can see several effects of my blending, how am I blending my layers basically together. I'm going to for normal for now. Hopefully that explained the different layers and how you do it, how you can copy it, how you move it, and how in effect editing or you adjust only a particular layer but not all the layer. Remember, if you just click in the layer, anything you make a change or adjust, it will affect anything underneath it. Okay? If you Command in Mac or Control in Windows click, it will affect only that layer. Well, thank you for listening. Hopefully that you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you. Goodbye.